Do you often think about why you gained weight and what it is that happened in your life that made you get to where you are in your weight? Well, today I've really been thinking about that, and I've thought about it a bit in the past, but today I've just been thinking about how I felt in the 6 years leading up to when I decided to change last year. And it's brought back a lot of emotions and feelings, and I'm starting to really think about what's happened in my life and how I reacted to situations in relation to food. So I'm going to give a quick recap of why I think I gained weight and things that I think that contributed and were the main reasons to why I gained weight. Basically, the first reason is I think that I was pregnant very young. I left school to become a mum. Well, I graduated school, but when I finished school, I then went into being, a mother. And with that came moving out of home when I was pregnant. So I went from having my mum saying, "You can't eat that, rah, rah, rah," to being able to do whatever I wanted. I could go to Macca's. I could go anywhere I wanted. And I did. And I was lazy because I used that silly excuse that I was pregnant and I could eat whatever I wanted. And I gained a lot of weight in that pregnancy. The second thing that I think contributed to my weight gain was basically the fact that money was tight. For 6 years, or maybe not 6, maybe about 4 years, there was a good period of time where we were on a very, very minimal income, and I had to make the little amount of money that we had go a very long way. And with that, there was lots of pasta. There was lots of cheap crap just to get us through. Very, very cheap white bread. And, just all that stuff that was, $1. Pasta's only 69 cents or something like that. The cheap home bread and stuff. Cheap home bread is under $1, and it's white and it's processed to the shit house, but it fed us. And it got us through some really, really tough times where I may have only had $20 to feed the family for a week. So I think a lot of that was the restrictions financially that I had to buy the better choices, because I had to feed everyone on such a limited budget for a time there. And I think that's where I gained a lot of my weight, was because of the food I was eating. It wasn't lean, it wasn't clean. It was starchy and cheap and processed. And I think one of the other biggest things that I think has contributed to my weight gain is my relationship with food. And by that, I'm not going to be talking about emotional eating and boredom eating just yet, but more the fact that the relationship with food being, when we go out, it's always revolved around food. We don't just go out to do something. It's, where can we go eat? What do you want to eat? What food do you want to grab? There's that lack of activity. And I guess I haven't really said that to anyone, and I still struggle with that today. That is still one of the biggest issues that I have in my life, is to get rid of that relationship with food that has to integrate into every single outing. I want to be able to be like, let's go out, let's go do this, not where are we going to eat, what food are we taking, what food just always seems to come up with every single thing that we do, and it's crazy. Like, we need to eat, but food shouldn't be the center of the way we live. And that's something that's really bugging me right now. It's something that I'm really struggling with fixing as well. And I guess one of the other major reasons why I gained weight is boredom eating, emotional eating, eating to make me feel better. Does it really? No. But I think it does at the time. I think shoving my face full of a packet of Tim Tams is going to make me feel good. Cadbury chocolate was another big thing. anything sweet. I've got a huge sweet tooth. And I'm a huge boredom eater. I think that maybe go over the emotional eating. I think I'm more of a boredom eater than emotional eating. But I do find that I turn to food when I'm upset. I do find I turn to food when life's just going crazy and I need to release some sort of stress. I turn to food. If I'm tired and sooky and just want to cry because I've just had that kind of exhausting day being a mum or a partner, or just an exhausting day in general, emotionally, physically, either way, I'll turn to I'll find that I'll get a sweet tooth after dinner. And especially the week before the girlies arrive, I seem to get a big sweet tooth as well. So I'm trying to recognize when my cravings for sweetish foods are happening. But boredom eating is probably one of my biggest killers. If I'm sitting down watching a movie, I want to be snacking on something. If I just, with my hands, it's just in my mouth, I just want to be chewing or grabbing food, and I don't know how to describe it really, just that boredom. Like, I can't just sit down and watch a movie. Well, I've got to have a bowl of chips or some biscuits or chocolate or something. Food just seems to come into every activity that I do, and it's hard to break that I don't need crap when I watch a movie. I don't need crap to go out and just enjoy life. I was going to say picnic, but when you have a picnic, you generally have food. So even if it's like to the park. And I guess this is that they're the main reasons why I think I've gained weight. And now it's the process of I'm recognizing those things and trying to change them. So have you ever thought about what made you gain weight? Maybe it's something that you need to do. I know it's something that's helped me and helping me by recognizing, why did I get here? I was 70 to 75 kilos in the end of 2008. By the start of 2014, I was 157.4, easily in the 160s. Now I'm at 146.6. So you can see how quickly your weight can increase by being lazy, and a lot of the times it was pure laziness. And I think that's hard to admit that you're lazy, and to me, I think a lot of the time it is laziness. I developed a takeaway addiction due to laziness, not necessarily because I wanted the food, but because it was the lack of planning of a proper dinner, a proper meal. The lack of meal planning is another big downfall for me, and I truly do believe it is laziness a lot of the time as well that has contributed to my weight gain. And sometimes I need to think that I could be sitting in the takeaway line drive-through for half an hour when that's time that I could have spent at home cooking a meal. And breaking down that thing that takeaway necessarily isn't always the quickest option, because it isn't, and it's certainly not the healthiest option either. So I guess that's it with why I think I've gained weight, and some issues that I'm still working through, and things that I think that I still need to work on and deal with. So see ya.